What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a multi-part episode about Allazov versus Superbon. Now, if you don't want spoilers, this is not the video for you, but if you would like to see clips, then you are here at the right spot because I'm going to be showing you what happened in the fight. As of now, I don't know what the results are. I'm going to watch this fight live right now. Not actually live because it's already happened, but I'm going to watch it for the first time. You can see my reaction, and then I'm going to head upstairs to my filming studio and I'm going to talk to you about what actually went down in the fight, what I saw that worked well, and what I saw that didn't work well, depending on who wins, who loses. So here we go. Starting right into the fight, we got sound off. And we got the glove touch. Now, the interesting thing about Allazov is he is a super high level fighter, but he hasn't had as much notoriety as the guys like Superbon because he never got his chance in glory. And amazing fighter. He fought Petrosian on the card that I was on. I got to actually meet him, talk with him quite a bit, and seems like a super nice guy. Obviously, people know Superbon. He is crazy dangerous. He has that right high kick. Going into this one, I don't really know who I give the edge to, honestly, because Allazov has a very good style, I think, for Superbon. Very pressure-based with the hands. And we've already seen Marat Grigorian in the past exploit that weakness in Superbon. So at the moment, we're in round number 1. We're at about 50 seconds in. Allazov doing some stance switching. He's keeping everything guarded really tight. The main thing that I would do if I was fighting Superbon is I would be hyper aware of that right round kick and not have my left hand ever drop down where it's going to expose my head, my face. Right now, we're seeing a fairly sort of feel out process, but Allazov definitely letting his hands go more than Superbon, keeping everything tight. And when I was on the same card as Allazov, he actually fought Giorgio Petrosian, had a very close fight with him, which is crazy impressive because Giorgio, in my mind, is still the pound for pound best in the world, even though people will argue, well, he got knocked out by Superbon, but I still think he is actually better. Just one of those things, you know, not even five, like 8 out of 10 times I think Petrosian wins that fight. You might disagree though. So we got 1 minute left in the first round. I don't see anybody at this point taking a massively clear advantage, but I do have Allazov ahead. He's landed the better punches. Good body shot there from him. He put the 1-2 in, landed a clean body shot. It's a 5-round fight. And I hope everybody gets a chance to watch this because it's kickboxing at the highest skill level. And I really like when we see people who have different skill sets facing each other as opposed to guys who basically fight the exact same way. These guys are quite different, and it's nice to see that stylistic separation. And you can really see guys having to focus on their strengths and see who will come out victorious. Still at this point, close round, but I would give the first to Allazov so far. We're down to the last probably 10 seconds. I don't have a timestamp up right now. Allazov does a lot of stance switching, which is quite interesting. He is so jacked, Allazov. His back and his muscle definition is crazy. And he obviously had no problem making the, whatever it is, 154-pound weight class with the hydration testing, which we have to see in 1FC. Getting some slow motion highlights here. I remember seeing a really nice cross. There it is. They do show it. Nice. From Allazov. So yeah, in my opinion, round number 1 to him. This is just fun. Fun watching guys like this. Because a lot of times when I see what people call high-level strikers, especially in MMA, I don't look at them and go, ooh, they're really high-level strikers. Maybe they are for MMA, but not in the terms or, I guess, the expectations which I have for high-level striking. But when I watch these guys, I'm impressed. So here we go to round number 2. It's interesting how on a card that is as I understand, basically a Muay Thai card, they do have the cage. It'd be nice to see a little bit of a ring action more often. Allazov coming out really fast. He gets a warning for holding. I really don't like this new rule set that 1FC has introduced. You cannot catch any kick, even if it's for a split second. So you basically got to be like a punching bag and just take everything off the arms. Nice Superman punch there. He rocked Superbon. I don't know if Superbon's down. Big cross. I was just going to say, I don't know if Superbon was actually hurt, but his head moved. It's always hard to gauge how damaged somebody is. Superbon back. Allazov on the attack. Pressuring forward. Knocks him down a second time. This time with slightly overhand style. Superbon, when he gets clipped to the head, as we've seen in the past, he's not great at covering up. He leaves holes. Allazov attacking, thudding him. He's out. He is out. Allazov has won that fight with 3 knockdowns. The last one actually looks like it put Superbon completely out. I can't see yet. No, he's still down. And this is the thing about defense. Allazov is a power puncher, great shots. Superbon has that long guard style, and that leaves holes. You do get hit. Even with somebody like Buakaw, who had that guard locked in, he would still take punches. The reason it worked for Buakaw is that guy has a head of steel. I don't think Superbon is quite as tough up there, and I feel like he needs to work on his punch defense. He needs to work on his boxing. I'm sure lots of people were shocked with the outcome of this fight. I'm not shocked. Like I said at the beginning, I couldn't have picked a winner going into this because I knew how dangerous Allazov is. So let's go upstairs and let's do a breakdown of what actually happened here and the mistakes that were made. All right, guys, we're up in my filming studio and we are going to go through a little bit of a breakdown of what happened, what could have been done better, what the big keys to victory were. Now, as I already mentioned, this fight for me was kind of like a 50-50. I didn't know who was going to take the win because both guys are so high skilled. But in the first round, something that I did note, which was going well for Allazov, after I stopped and thought about it, I went, ooh, he was doing a very good job with his movement. He was very bouncy. In addition to keeping his hands really tight, he was staying on his feet. He was switching his stances. He was making things difficult for Superbon to get that read on him, as opposed to when Superbon fought Marat Grigorian and Grigorian was standing in front of him, Superbon had that front kick, which he just kept throwing and landing, throwing and landing. Allazov went, I don't think I'm going to let that happen, and he was mobile. And I think in the first round, that was something which I went, this is fantastic. In addition, keeping that hand really high so that if any kicks did come, he was not exposing his head, because obviously we all know Superbon and that right round kick are very, very dangerous. In the first round, we saw a solid cross from Allazov, and I think that might have just let him know that, ooh, I can land shots on Superbon. But the first round was relatively controlled. However, moving into round 2, we see Allazov start much faster, steaming forward. Now, he does make a mistake. He does catch a kick. I hate this rule set in 1FC, the inability to catch kicks, but I do want to touch on it, even though it was technically illegal, because catching a kick against Superbon could be very dangerous because he is quite good at coming low to the body or high. But it looks very difficult to make that distinction. So what he did, and what I was actually teaching to a student yesterday, was the hand, as it reaches out, it can't go down and grab. It can't be like this. It needs to be out and around, big looping motion, so that if the guy comes up here, you can still trap the kick. If they come crazy high and they try and change to a Brazilian, at least they'll catch the forearm. So I do like how Allazov was doing that. Now, I have talked to you guys before on the channel about when you are fighting a Muay Thai stylist, one of the ways that you can go about defeating them is mix up your techniques, be unpredictable, throw things they are not used to. And we see Allazov take control of the match when he does exactly that. He comes with the right low kick, he comes with the left high kick, he fakes the right low kick because Superbon is probably thinking about that, and he transitions to the Superman punch, which lands flush. When I saw this land, I wasn't sure if Superbon was hurt. I saw his head snap, but he didn't look wobbled, So I went, oh, maybe he's okay. But very shortly after that, we see Allazov land a big cross and we go, oh, he's not okay, he's down. Now, something I want to note in Superbon's defense, two aspects. Number one, he's playing that long guard, but he's playing the long guard with the shoulder down. If you are going to play this long guard game, you have to recognize that anything on this side of the head is open, unless you utilize it the same way Buakaw did. Buakaw would come up and get that shoulder snug. Now from here you can see I'm very, very covered on this side. Other hand can be high or tight, and from this position I am much more safe, except for the uppercut. And we have seen Buakaw take some uppercuts when he fought, but he has a very, very strong jaw. I don't know if it's his jaw, his neck muscles, he just has a thick skull. I don't know what the heck is happening with him, but he can utilize this. He does take shots, but overall he's fine. Superbon, we have seen, can get hit and can get rattled. So this long guard, especially with the shoulder low, is very dangerous. Allazov, I think, picks up on that very quickly. After the first knockdown, he comes back in and he lands another big power cross, not coming straight up the middle, but looping around very slightly. At this point, it's probably safe to assume that Superbon is not all there. He's taken the Superman punch. He's been knocked down 2 times. Going into the end, Allazov pounces on him, does what he is best at, pressure, pressure, pressure with beautiful, fast, crisp technique. Tries a few shots, nothing is landing as clean as he wants, and then again comes back to that big, somewhat looping cross, lands flush, and Superbon is 100% out, and it would appear that way at least. This is a fight, as I've mentioned, which in my opinion could have gone either way. Very close in terms of their skill levels and what they've accomplished in the past. But Allazov made a statement here. What would I like to see happen next? Because some people might be going, oh, Superbon deserves an immediate rematch. I would like to see Superbon compose and work on his tight guard, because if you ever get rattled and you're hurt, you want to be able to weather a 5, 6, 7 punch storm with tight guard right in there. If you can do that and then go back to a long guard when you're recovered, I think it is much safer than always trying to use the long guard, which in my opinion is great, but also leaves you exposed in a number of ways. Allazov today demonstrated exactly how you can be exposed when utilizing this defense. So I think the way going forward from here is Superbon takes a little recovery time, focuses up on that defense, and we get, hopefully, Giorgio Petrosian in to rematch Allazov, because Giorgio Petrosian has already beaten him, and in my mind, Petrosian is still the #1 in the world. Many people will go, well, how could that be? He lost to Superbon, but I feel 8 out of 10 times, if not 9 out of 10 times, Giorgio wins that rematch with Superbon. He does not make the mistake of letting that hand drop. He stays extra tight the way we saw Allazov do in this fight. You might disagree with me, but I think the way going forward is Allazov versus Petrosian, and then the winner of that can fight Superbon. If it's Petrosian who wins, as he's already done in the past against Allazov, then we see him fight Superbon in a rematch. If he beats Superbon, nobody can argue that this guy is #1 pound for pound in the world. Again, in my opinion. Super exciting fight. Allazov was a former K1 champion. Granted, he won this when the division was a little weaker. Didn't have those top guys like Buakaw, Masato, Albert Kraus, Andy Sauer. All the former champs had moved on to other promotions, but still big accomplishment. Allazov now capturing that K1 belt and moving on to a 1FC belt puts him at one of the absolute best kickboxers in the world, and I am excited to see this guy go up against somebody else, hopefully very soon in 2023. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please give the video a like. If you have not already, join the channel, get subscribed. As always, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another video.